Hey there guys, I'm John Campea. Thank you for visiting my movie vlog as I'm here to talk about the brand new Netflix series, Mindhunter. I'm gonna admit right up front, I had no idea what this show was about when I started watching it. All I knew was that it's on Netflix, it's called Mindhunter, sounds pretty cool, some people trying to solve crimes. Honestly, since I read nothing about it whatsoever, I kind of thought from the title of the show, plus the graphics they were using to promote it, I assumed it had something to do with sci-fi, maybe something to do with the supernatural, something about, maybe an FBI team examining the paranormal, a little bit of X-Files in there if you want. I had no idea what I was in for. Now, having watched all 10 episodes of the first season, I can honestly say, this is not the show that I was expecting it to be, and that's an incredibly good thing because this show is awesome just the way it is. Without going into much detail, the show basically breaks down to this. You have this team working for the FBI of 3 people. They are Holden Ford, Bill Tench, and Wendy Carr, played respectively by Jonathan Groff, Holt Michelani, I never pronounce his name right, and Anna Torv. Now, if you recognize Anna's names, that's because she was the lead in that cult hit show that was really kind of wonderful called Fringe. And this team isn't out fighting bad guys on the rooftops of Gotham or anything like that. They're the team that starts the work of putting together psychological profiles to try to understand the criminal mind and try to maybe even prevent crimes like that from happening. What seems to be the main storyline, the vein, if you will, that the story follows, is this team basically traveling to different prisons around the country, sitting down and talking with the most deranged of killers. Serial killer is the term that they coined for them, to try to understand their mindset, what made them the way they are, what motivated them to do the things that they did, how did they feel as they were doing it, and all these things was to put together the first psychological profile of somebody who would do something like this. And you realize right away as you're watching that this is not an action show. This is not a comedy. This isn't an exciting show. It's a very slow, thoughtful, but pondering kind of show that makes you sit down and you realize you are completely bought into all the discussions and everything that's going on the screen. It is a thoughtful show made to stimulate your mind as you're watching it. The pieces of the puzzle of the show are so brilliantly laid out, like if you follow them as an audience member, moving from first theories to the interviews, learning a little bit, seeing how that little bit they learned applies to a real case and real live world applications, then interviewing more psychos, then finding out how the information they glean from that then applies to the next case that they're looking at. And slowly you get this building idea, kind of like a child putting together these blocks. And when you step back and look at it by the end of the season, you realize, wow, the construction of the story is fantastic. Now, for me, most, not all, but most of the best movies are the ones that are character-centric and really focus on the character. And it's around episode 7 or 8 that you realize, you know what, the real heartbeat of this show isn't so much about the FBI team and interviewing psychos. It's really about this character, Holden Ford, and it's following him, and you realize you start to recognize the evolution of the character. We have been witnessing a beautifully put together, slow burn of a character arc, and we see how the work that he's been involved with has slowly been kind of eating away at his optimism, maybe eating away at his naivete, maybe eating away at his character a little bit, and you realize he's somebody that he wasn't when this show began. A lot of shows don't know how to do character progression. Yeah, they show a lot of things happening to the character, but we don't see the characters grow and evolve. This character evolves, and understandably so when you really realize all of the traumatic stuff that he's being exposed to all the time. Not just the ideas, but also the gruesome crimes in a practical sense. And that character evolution, to me, is the backbone of what makes this show Mindhunter so exceptional. But it's not just 10 hours of slow character development that we're talking about in this season of Mindhunter. The showrunners know well enough to put in enough real-world cases along the way to take the information that they're learning and applying them to these real-world cases that bit by bit we're kind of given these little mysteries to solve along the way. There are smaller crimes that they have to tackle and deal with, smaller issues that they have to tackle and deal with along the way, and that really keeps you as an audience member satisfied from episode to episode on top of the overall arc of the show as well. Look, the bottom line is this: Mindhunter is a smart, beautifully paced, wonderfully constructed and beautifully acted story about real characters in this incredible scenario as they progress along from learning to applying and then learning some more. It is a wonderfully put together show. It's one of the best that I've seen on Netflix in the last year or two, and something that I highly recommend you check out. But the big question is, have you had a chance to check out Mindhunter? If so, what did you think? Jump down to the comments section below and leave me your thoughts. And listen, guys, while you're here, why don't you take a second, click on that subscribe button, become a subscriber to my YouTube channel. Make sure you're following me on social media, on Facebook and on Twitter, simply at John Campea. That'll do it for me for now, guys. So until the next video, bye-bye.